We are live. I'm just going to invite Ross Thatcher. My niggas. Mine niggas. Yeah, my sex on Facebook is her. Mr. Ross. Yes, I am waiting as well. It says adding, adding, adding. If this doesn't work.
Alrighty,
Oh,
it's
there he is.
working.
My nigga.
How you going, Chris?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm going great, mate.
Fuck yeah. So, how come you're not mentally challenged?
Because I don't believe I live on a spinning ball for a start.
Well, that means you are mentally challenged.
No, I think the person that believes we live on a spinning ball in a vacuum of space is the mentally challenged one. And I challenge you to try
Uh,
and prove your position. Have you ever seen the
yeah,
beach? Have you ever seen water level? Have you ever seen that we're not moving faster than the speed of sound?
you can just go on Google and it's all there, mate.
Yeah, Google doesn't really tell me what reality is. I can just stick my head out the window. I can go and look at the coast. I can look at the beach. I can feel the ground I'm standing upon and know that I'm not moving faster than the speed of sound, hurtling around the sun at some 66,600 miles per hour. That's insanity.
Doesn't mean it's not happening
Absolute
though.
insanity. Well, if you make the claim that something is happening, then you have to provide evidence for it, don't you? You can't
We
just
already
make a
have
claim
evidence.
and say, oh, well, somebody else proved it. Nobody's proved it.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Absolute
They
bullshit.
have. Other people have proved it, so we don't have to. That's why society
Oh, so,
functions
so,
the way it
so,
does.
so in other words, you're just relying on faith. You're just resting on authority to prove
Now,
something
faith
that
doesn't
you,
require
you can't
evidence.
prove for yourself. No, you think somebody else has done it. You believe they've done it and you trust in them. That's called faith. That's a religious belief,
That's
mate.
not
It's an
faith. Faith
indoctrination.
does not require evidence.
Beg your pardon?
Faith does not require evidence.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's
So
not faith
if
then.
it's so easy,
So
if it's so easy for other people to prove, then how can you prove to me that the ground beneath my feet is moving faster than the speed of sound?
I'm not a scientist, unfortunately, so I can't do that. But other scientists have.
Oh
So
no, but you but
yeah,
but
it's
you
like
but you say you've learned it. You've heard it from somebody else. It should be pretty easy for you. You're
it
not the
is on
mentally
Google.
challenged one here. I'm the mentally challenged one. You're supposed to be setting me correct.
No, I'm just here to show everyone how mentally challenged you are. That's all.
No. What you're really doing is showing
You've done a
everybody
good
how
job so far, so cheers.
indoctrinated you are in other people's beliefs, and you've got nothing to back it up. You've got nothing because oh well, I'm not a
Uh,
scientist.
yeah, I
What
do.
the
It's
fuck
on
is that
Google, mate.
supposed to mean? We're all scientists. We're all able to check everything for ourselves.
Hey, can you explain to me how the internet works?
Yeah, wirelessly.
How? How does it work?
Computers
Oh yeah, how do computers work?
with microchips and electricity and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, how does that work?
Well, if you want to trace it all back, you can find the evidence for it.
Yeah,
You know,
how
it's
on
pretty
Google?
simple.
Just like I said,
If you really
for
want to,
Earth, every
if you really want to
Google
know
Earth.
those things, you can do that. You shouldn't expect a layman like me to just know these things off the top of my head, simply because I
Exactly right,
understand
because we
reality.
can't know everything off the top of our head.
That's right. But we can Google it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when we
exactly.
Google
So how
how
come it's
fast
good
is
enough for
the
you to
Earth
say
spinning,
Google, not me?
hey,
How come it's good enough for you to say go Google something, but not me?
look, we can Google anything we like. And when it comes down
Yeah.
to the speed and everything of the Earth, you know,
Hmm.
you can ask Google straight away, say, how fast is the sun moving through the solar system? And Google will turn around and tell you, oh, the sun is moving 514,000 miles per hour through space. But if you go outside and go and have a look at the sun, you don't see it
Yeah.
moving over 500,000 miles per hour through space at all.
No, no, that's right. But that's just your
Whereas
perspective,
something
mate.
to do with the internet, how it works, obviously the internet does work. And so we can say, okay, well, good, it works. But if
You
we
don't
go
know
out and
how,
say the sun doesn't look to be going 500,000 miles per hour, then how the hell do we know that it actually is? If they're just telling us that.
because it's a
Because we
scientist's
can
job
see the
to work
internet
it out,
working,
and
but
they
we
get
can't
paid
see the
for it,
sun
mate.
moving. No, there's actually not a single scientist in the world who gets paid to tell us what shape the Earth is. That's erroneous. They're all brought up on the same beliefs from childhood. They're all brought up on the same beliefs from childhood, and they just make that assumption, and they never question it.
Sure, mate.
And so
Sure.
it becomes a religious belief. That's all it is. It's a religious belief with no evidence. And I'm
No,
sorry, but your
it's
religious
the
belief
opposite. It exists
does
because
not
there is
cut it.
evidence.
What evidence?
What evidence for what? Name something specific and I'll bring it up.
Okay, what evidence that the ground beneath our feet is moving 1.35 times the speed of sound?
Um, you mean the Earth like traveling through on its orbit, or the rotation, or
Just on its spin alone. Yeah, just the spin.
just the way it
Not the orbit.
spins?
The orbit is like 86 times the speed of sound. Yeah.
How fast does the Earth spin? Typing it into Google. 460 meters per second at the equator.
Per second. So if you threw a
Yes.
ball up in the air in 1 second, it should be 460 meters away from you.
That's not how it works, mate. Sorry.
No, of course, because then you have to invent all sorts of other fantasies and say, oh, no, the whole atmosphere moves with it. And yet we still have wind. How do you explain wind? Like on a still
Wind's
day,
separate
perfectly
from the
still day.
rotation and stuff. Like I'm not a weather guy or whatever. I don't study the weather, so it's actually not my job.
No,
But I
but
could
on a
read it up
perfectly
on
still
Google.
day, we've got our atmosphere with us, right? And it's
Yeah.
supposedly going, what did you say? 460 meters per second,
460
which means
meters a
that
second. Yep.
yeah, so every meter above the surface, it has to be increasing its speed just to keep up the illusion of standing perfectly still. I think William of Ockham would have something to say about that and say that the argument with the least assumptions is the most correct one, and says that the air is still because it's still, not because it's moving even faster and faster, just because it gets higher above us.
Earth's atmosphere moves with the Earth, mate.
Does it? Right. But nothing else does. So if you throw something up in it, it doesn't move with the atmosphere. It goes against it because you've got air resistance.
Well,
But somehow the
if
Earth is
you
magically
are
capable
moving
of
with the Earth,
drawing the whole atmosphere
if
around
you're
with it
yeah, you
at
throw up a ball, that
massive,
ball is
massive,
also
massive
moving
speeds.
because you're moving with the Earth. Yeah.
Sorry? You're cutting out a little bit
So
there.
if you're standing on something that's moving and you throw up something, it's going to move with you, mate.
Right. And if you're standing on the back of a truck and you throw up
Hmm.
something, you think that's going to keep moving with you?
Depends on the wind resistance.
Yeah. You jump off the side of a train, you think you're going to keep moving with the same speed of the train, or you're going to slow down immediately the minute you jumped off?
Yeah, but the train's not the Earth, mate.
But it's on
The
the
Earth's not
Earth.
moving as fast as the train
So
compared to
the Earth
us.
has special abilities that can move
No,
supersonic
the Earth is just
speeds
really,
that
really,
nothing else
really,
has.
really big, and we're really, really, really small.
Right. So being really big gives you special powers. That's what you're saying. The Earth has special powers because it's really big.
No, it's just you can't comprehend what's going on. That's all. Thus, the mentally
No,
challenged
that's
aspect
a
of it.
cop out. That's a cop out, mate. That's an absolute cop out.
No,
You were
no,
saying
it's
that
not.
because something is really big, it has special powers that nothing else has.
No, it just means that you can't get the
That means you're
perspective
mentally
correct.
challenged because you believe in these retarded beliefs that you have to believe
It's
in
verified, and I can look it up.
that don't apply to reality
Not true.
in any other shape or form. But because it's really, really, really big. Oh, it's so
Not
big. Oh,
true,
I
buddy.
can't comprehend how big it is. It's so big. Oh, fucking hell. It must be
Can't
like
comprehend it.
superpower.
Obviously,
All right.
if you think, oh, the Earth's flat, the atmosphere, throwing balls and stuff, you don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. That's the thing.
You
Because I
do in
do
your
know what
head.
I'm talking about, and that's
React-
why I can't stand retarded idiots like yourself trying to tell us we're
Nah,
mentally challenged when we
you are
fucking know what we're
mentally
talking
challenged
about.
because you don't know what
No,
the Earth is.
I'm not. No, you're just saying really, really big has different properties. It's
It
special.
is
It's
really big.
magic.
You just can't comprehend what's going
But
on.
yeah,
That's
but
all.
so why does it have special properties? Why are they magic?
What's magic in particular?
Well, the whole atmosphere moving with it, as opposed to the Earth moving through the atmosphere, like everything else moves through the atmosphere.
That doesn't even make sense, mate.
Yes, it does. It makes
How
absolute
so?
sense. Everything moves through the atmosphere, but you're saying the atmosphere doesn't apply to the Earth unless you take a bit of the Earth off the atmosphere and throw it through it. But otherwise, it all just moves with the Earth.
It does, yeah. The
That's
atmosphere
insanity,
moves
mate.
with.
You're fucking insane. That's what you don't even realize. You don't even realize how insane you are because you can't even comprehend reality to begin with. You've totally lost
You're
the
making
plot
up your
before
own
we even
reality.
get started. You've just been
You're
convinced you
making up
live on a
your own reality.
globe. You're convinced we live on a globe, and this globe has these magic properties of dragging the atmosphere with it at thousands of miles per hour, but it doesn't apply to everything else in reality, just to this belief of yours of this magic spinning ball in outer space, surrounded by a vacuum with a
It's not a belief.
pressurized atmosphere.
It's reality.
Okay, tell us how we have a pressurized atmosphere surrounded by a vacuum. Let's start with that, since you know it
Have
all.
you got like 10 minutes for me to read through something?
No, I just want to hear what you have to say. How do we have a pressurized
Well,
atmosphere surrounded by a vacuum when the nature of anything under pressure is to equalize with the lesser pressure, not be more pressurized by nothing?
yeah, the pressure isn't equal throughout the whole atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And
So
that
the
works
higher you go,
perfectly
the less pressure
well
there
on
is.
a stationary plane of Earth where, with or without a dome above us, we don't even need that. Everything finds its relative density because of how dense it actually is. And
Jesus
different
Christ.
gases have different amounts of density. But if
Yeah,
you're
okay.
surrounded by a vacuum, then they have to equalize with the nothingness around us, which means we wouldn't have an atmosphere at all on a
Well,
spinning ball
unfortunately,
in
that's
outer
not what
space.
happens, mate.
That's because you've obviously got the whole concept completely wrong. It doesn't happen that way
Says you.
because,
Says the flat earther.
because your idea of a spinning ball in a vacuum makes no sense.
According to you.
According to me and millions of other people who have now actually sat down and critically analyzed it and
Who
making
are
idiots like
mentally
you look to be
or
fucking
assholes.
idiots that you are. Now you sit there laughing and carrying on, but you've got nothing. You've got
This is
nothing.
fucking
You can't tell
hilarious.
me.
This
You
is
you can't
exactly
tell
what I
me how
wanted
this
to achieve.
pressurized atmosphere
You are showing
exists
everybody
inside
how
of a
dumb
vacuum.
you are.
No, actually,
You're showing
I'm
everybody
exposing
how
you.
dumb you are.
I'm exposing you for being the mental retard who thinks you know it all, and you obviously don't.
No,
When there are people
but
like
you
myself who
no,
sit and
mate,
critically
what I
analyze
have to
stuff,
start.
And you can't give me an answer. You can't give me an answer why we have a pressurized atmosphere surrounded by a vacuum.
Well, like I said, I
You're
need a
sitting
few
there.
minutes to actually look that up and go through it and stuff, you know, because
Yeah,
I
no,
actually
you're
don't
sitting
know.
there
'Cause I'm not
bloody
a
carrying
scientist,
on
yeah?
like a bloody half-wit.
Says you. Hey, Google, why do we have a pressurized atmosphere? This is going to take forever for me to look and research. That's the problem, mate. See, what happens, see, the thing is, you're trying to
It's
search for
something you
something
know
that
off the
I
top
don't
of
know,
your
and
head.
you're trying to use that against me and then say, oh, no, you're a fucking idiot, mate. Oh, it doesn't work
No, it
like
should
that.
be
I
something you
know
know
I
off the
don't know
top of your
certain
head because it's your belief. It's your belief. You're the
mate.
one that's the globetard. You
Not a
believe in the
belief.
spinning
It's
ball in outer
reality.
space, and
Not
you
a
think
belief.
other people are idiots because they question your beliefs. You're like the most religitarded
It's not a
person
belief. It's
sitting here
reality.
trying to laugh at somebody like, as opposed, it's like, oh well, I believe that Jesus died on the cross and came back to life in 3 days' time. And if you're an atheist, how dare you question me? Because we all know it happened. You can't question that. That's what your religitarded belief is trying to say here.
Not true.
You just say
Reality
everybody knows
does
it
not
happened,
require faith.
therefore it must be true. But you have nothing. When I challenge you, you have to look it up.
Yeah, I do.
You have
So
to look
what?
it up.
So you have to look up how the internet works. How do routers communicate with each other? You don't know off the top of your head, yet you use it in everyday life. It's important.
It's
You
not
should
a
know off the top
problem
of your
because
head,
I
yeah?
know they work. It's not a problem because I know
Yeah,
they work.
and the Earth works.
How do you
The
have a pressurized
globe Earth
atmosphere
works.
within a vacuum, contained by a
I don't
vacuum?
know. I'd have to
You
look it
can't
up.
have it. No,
Yes, you
no.
can,
Well, you shouldn't
obviously.
have to because anybody with a logical thinking mind would know how impossible it is. And that you sit
Not
there
true,
and
mate.
think that you're
It's obviously
smarter
very
than
possible.
everybody else and you think you can call people mentally challenged because we've thought about these things that you haven't even thought about. You have to actually look it up and you're going to have to spend 10 minutes researching it. And we're
So,
mentally challenged. You're a fucking
so,
moron.
nah. Sorry, mate.
So don't come onto the internet then and tell us that we're mentally challenged.
You are, because you're a flat earther. It's just a fact. Sorry.
Yeah, you should be sorry because you're just
No,
embarrassing yourself here and making yourself look like a fucking idiot.
cool. Yeah, you can save this video if you like and show all your friends too. I really don't give a shit. So yeah, how do routers work? You have to look it up, yeah?
I can't see too many people commenting on this either. Where are you sharing this?
Oh, it's in the group.
It's in the group.
And after the
Are you going
video's
to
done,
delete it
it'll be
like
saved.
last one?
So it'll be there forever. And then we can all just watch it later on. And watch how stupid you
Cool.
are.
How stupid I am. Mate, you're
Yes,
embarrassing
yes.
yourself. You're embarrassing the whole globe Earth
Oh,
community.
so I'm
You're
admitting
embarrassing your
what I
whole
do or don't know.
heliocentric religion.
It's not a religion, mate. Reality is not a religion. Sorry.
No, heliocentrism is. It was all about sun worship. That's what Copernicus said. He said, oh, finally, now we can finally place the sun in the center of our belief system. That was what they were trying to do the whole time. It's all about Lucifer worship,
Yeah,
mate.
how many years ago? How many
Lucifer, the
years ago
light
was that?
bearer. Probably
That
about
was a long time
somewhere
ago.
in the 15 or 1600s. I don't know. But
Long,
apparently
long
you
time
guys have
ago,
been
yeah.
believing in a spinning ball since, what's his name, Eratosthenes, since 2,500 years ago, measuring shadows of sticks. You reckon
Yeah.
he proved that we lived on a spinning ball and that was it? That's all the evidence you need. Oh, we've known it for 2,500 years. End of story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
What a fucking faith
But
believing
all the other
religion
observations we
you
make about the
have.
globe Earth are correct. Like sunrises, sunsets, eclipses, seasons, days are longer, shorter, whatever. None of it
All
works on a
done
flat
on the flat
Earth, mate.
Earth geocentric astrolabe.
And
Ever heard of an astrolabe?
How come Antarctica has 24 hours of sunlight at certain times of the year when it's supposed to be bordering a flat Earth? That's not
Does it though?
possible.
Does it? Does it?
It does.
And you've been there and you've seen it.
No, other people have.
Okay, so you're taking other people's words once again. I only believe in
Why
things I
wouldn't
can
I?
see for myself. I believe in
Well,
things
that's
I
very
can see
short
for
sighted,
myself,
mate.
and things I can prove for myself. And when I look to
Yep.
find evidence of a 24-hour Antarctic sun, it seems like they're cutting out about 9 hours of
So
the
when you
day
go on Google and look
out of
up
the
how
video.
computer routers communicate with each other, that's fine. But when you look up
I'm not really too
Antarctica
concerned about
per
that sort of
hour,
stuff, mate. We're talking about
that's
the
not
shape
good
of the
enough, is
Earth.
it?
We're talking about the shape of the Earth here. You know, you can
Yeah.
rant on
You
rave
looking up
about your
evidence of the
bloody
shape of the
computer
Earth isn't
routers
good
all
enough
you
for you.
like. You know,
You've just made a fool of
you
yourself
can
right
rant
now
and rave
because
about
you'll
your
accept
computer
looking
routers
up
all
something
you
about
like.
computers or routers and how they work, but you won't accept looking up something about Antarctica's 24-hour suns.
I've looked it up. I've looked it up. I've looked for
Yeah, so
myself. I've tried to find it. I tried to find evidence of the southern celestial pole. I find all that to be fake.
well,
But
you
when you
obviously
look for
don't
the
have
northern
book up.
celestial pole, Polaris, it seems to be quite real. You know, if somebody can prove
How come?
otherwise,
Hey, how come we
I'm
can't see the
happy
Big
to.
Dipper in Australia, mate?
Have you ever heard of this thing? It's called distance. And when you're
No,
far away from something,
don't give me this
when you
shit,
go
mate.
far
You go
away from
far
something,
away
it
and stuff
appears to get
disappears
lower and
because
lower and
apparently we
lower
can't see.
until it's
Oh,
obscured
oh.
by the horizon. There's a thing called convergence. Have you ever heard of convergence? Do you know how everything always appears to rise up beneath you and appears to
Li-
sink down
Listen,
above you?
if the Earth is flat, everybody can look at the same point in the sky. Yeah.
That's bullshit. No, of course not.
How?
There's
How
a
is that
thing called
bullshit?
distance
Nah,
because the Earth is
I'm sorry.
really fucking big. Do you
So
understand?
everybody, Ross here thinks that eyesight only lasts like 50 kilometers or something. Like everything after then just disappears. Yeah, like yeah, sure.
Actually, no, your eyesight only lasts about 3 kilometers across the land, but you can probably see about 6,000, or hang on, if we're talking kilometers, probably about 9,000 kilometers in the sky. But after that, things get obscured.
How come we can
It's
see
called
stars?
distance
How come we can see stars then?
because they're high.
How
We
high?
see the stars because they're high. Good question. Who knows? I don't know. I've
Oh,
never been there.
do you think they're on the
I'm not gonna
firmament
go
or
give an
something?
arbitrary measurement to something I don't know about. All I can tell you is they're not that far away. They might
Why
be
not?
20, 30,
How
maybe
how
50
how do you
miles
know they're
away.
not light years away? Oh, because I believe that they're
How do I
not
know?
far away.
What the fuck? Hey, you got a problem there,
I'm
mate.
Ross, and stars aren't that far away. Because I said so. That's what you sound like.
Okay, then. Yeah. Rightio, if you want to
Yeah,
be like
yeah, it
that.
is. Yeah.
You're just showing your true colors now. That's really good.
What are my
You
true
can use
colors
the
apart
zoom
from?
of a camera. The zoom of a camera, like say the P9000, when somebody zooms in onto the moon and they zoom in to say a far distant place across the city, they can see that something far across the city does not magnify to the same degree as something does on the moon. So therefore, you can assume that the moon must be maybe only 30 to 40 miles away.
Well, that's fucking hilarious because it's not.
Well, you can just zoom in on various things and compare them. I don't think anybody's actually done the comparison, but that's pretty much how you would be able to do it if you chose to. Have you done
What's
anything? Have you
you're
ever
saying you
actually
can measure
zoomed
stuff
in on
through a
anything in
camera?
the far distance and compared it to something when you zoom in on the moon?
Oh my
No, I
god.
don't think so. No,
What's this got to do with
you're just
distance?
some
How far
dumb
away the moon is?
Victorian
Really?
wanker sitting down there in your fucking, I don't know, what
Whatever,
is it,
mate.
your mother's basement, and you're making assumptions. You're making assumptions and you think you're funny
You're
because
making the assumptions.
uh,
You're the flat earther.
I'm not making any assumptions. I'm telling you that if I don't know something, I don't know something, and I don't know how far the stars are away.
You can just look
I'm
it
not
up.
going to. No, no, I believe that's
Why
bullshit.
not?
That's all
Why not?
assumptions. That's
So
all
you can look up
assumptions
how a
because,
router works, and that's okay, but you won't look up how far away the sun is because that's not okay.
well, the sun is seriously not 93 million miles away.
How isn't it?
How isn't it? Because
Yeah.
basically, well, you have to understand how light works in the first place. You don't even
Oh yeah.
understand how
And
light
you know
works
how light works, do you?
in a roundabout sort of way. I've got a bit of an idea.
So what does that have
It
to do
works
with how
by,
far away the sun is?
well, it works by the simple fact that the illuminated gases of the atmosphere, which glow to create daylight and glow to create the
First of
apparition
all,
of the
that's
sun.
wrong, but all right.
No, they glow to create the apparition of the sun,
No,
only
mate.
work in the
Are
presence
you
of the
saying
sun.
that we get daytime because the atmosphere glows?
Yep. That's why the sky
You're
is blue.
fucking funny, man. I thought you said you knew how light worked.
Okay, well, you tell me then. You tell me why this tiny
Hmm.
little shadow of the Earth blocking the sunlight creates nighttime at night.
Well, it doesn't. That's not nighttime, mate.
Well, this is your belief. You believe that
Not a
the
belief. It's
entire
reality.
the tiny
It's
little Earth
reality.
blocks out the
Not a belief.
entire half of the universe of light because of its shadow or something.
Only the
Why do we have
sunlight, man.
nighttime then? Why do we have nighttime in your belief?
Oh my God. We have nighttime because we're not facing the sun and it's light. That's why we have nighttime. And then when the Earth rotates towards the sun,
Yeah,
we
but
have daylight.
why isn't the sunlight lighting up the rest of the universe? Why isn't the sunlight lighting it all up? Why is that tiny little
Um,
shadow of the Earth creating nighttime?
what shadow? It's not a shadow. What are you talking about?
Well, it must be.
What are
Otherwise,
you?
you
What
have
the
to
fuck are
accept.
you on about, bro?
Otherwise, you have to accept
How
that
old are you? 5?
that what I've said is correct. Is that the illuminated gases of the atmosphere light up to create daylight, and when the sun is no longer lighting them up, even in your belief, you fucking lunatic.
You're hilarious, man. That's the first time I've ever heard that. So the sun
That's
lights
right,
up the
because you don't even
atmosphere,
think
and the
about it.
atmosphere
Because you
glows.
don't
The
think about
atmosphere
it. You're too insane to even think about why you even have nighttime when the sun is 93 million miles away and like, what, 400 million times bigger than the Earth, and it should be creating light everywhere, but we have night.
fucking funny.
If it's
Mate,
not striking the
it's fucking
atmosphere
hilarious.
and creating daylight, it works on
How
both
does the
models, mate.
sunlight reach the atmosphere if we're facing away from the sun?
Well, that's right, it doesn't.
That's why we have nighttime. Ding ding.
Ah, so you admit that it has to be illuminating the atmosphere to create daylight. Ding
No,
ding.
I
No,
said
you just
that
did. You just said that.
how
You just
like
said that.
no. We are facing
Yeah,
away from the
no.
sun.
You can't
That's
backtrack
why we
now.
have
You just said
nighttime.
that
Ding ding.
because it's illuminating the atmosphere.
It's
Ding
nighttime.
ding.
There's no atmosphere to illuminate. You're facing away from the sun. That's why we have nighttime. We're not facing the sun. That's how it works, buddy.
So you're admitting once again that unless the sun is illuminating the atmosphere, it's nighttime.
No, we're not facing the sun. That's why it's nighttime. That's what I said.
Right. So it's not illuminating the atmosphere. And it's not illuminating
Never illuminate the
space.
atmosphere.
It's not
That's only
illuminating
your
everything
belief.
else. No. That's just your belief, mate. You're the one that even we live on a spinning
It's not a
ball.
belief. It's reality. Reality. When the Earth spins,
Yeah, no
we
such thing.
face the sun. Then the sun shines.
And if the sun was actually going around us on a planar Earth and sufficiently far enough away and stopped illuminating the atmosphere because of its distance, that would be why we have a twilight. Whereas in your opinion, we should be instantly cast into darkness by the shadow of the Earth.
No,
Instantly.
because you have to rotate
As soon as the
slowly.
sun is below the atmosphere, below the horizon, it should be instantly dark.
Well, no, obviously not. So that's not reality,
Obviously
is it?
not. No, that's right. Of course not, because the sun is what causes the noble gases of the atmosphere to glow, which is why we see all
I
the
can't.
different
This is fucking hilarious.
various colors of the
You
atmosphere
still think
glowing.
the sun's rays lights the atmosphere, and that's what gives us the light, and not the sun's rays itself. That's fucking funny, man.
No, the sun doesn't produce light itself. No, it just illuminates the noble gases by electrostimulation.
The sun doesn't produce light, so the sun's not shining. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be the biggest takeaway from this video. Ross Thatcher, the sun does not shine.
No, the sun is actually like what you'd call a black hole kind of interdimensional portal, if anything, and it produces energy, and that energy causes the noble gases to glow, and that's why we see an apparition of the sun at the same height of the atmosphere that we always see it.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, you might
prove it.
laugh and mock, that's for prove it.
Yeah, prove it.
I can grab you a link if you like. It's quite easy to prove.
No, it's
You know,
not. What you're going to prove?
I've
It's
got
a
my
black hole.
YouTube channel with a playlist called Perspectives playlist or Perspectives videos, and halfway down that, there's the first one of somebody else's videos I produced. I produced a few of my own, but there's one there that talks about how light works in reality, and it shows
Oh,
how you
rubbish.
can make neon gases glow by bringing them into contact or nearby to an electrostimulative force, such as a Tesla coil, and that's how light works.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Sure.
like I mean, here I am in this room right here, right now, right, and the
Yeah.
sun is setting way over in the west, but this
Yep.
room is still lit. It is still
Yeah.
sunlit. There's no direct light whatsoever coming in here. Why is this room even light at all? It should be complete darkness.
No, it shouldn't.
These windows above me here are actually at ground level, and this whole room should be dark. There's no reason for light to be in here, but because the sun creates this force that causes the various noble gases of the atmosphere to glow, that is how we have daylight without having to have direct sunlight. There's no sunbeams coming in this window. No sunbeams whatsoever.
Yeah, all right, sure. Sure.
Yeah. And it's like that the whole day. No sunbeams actually directly come into this room whatsoever.
Yeah, all right.
So why is it illuminated?
What? Because the sun's shining into your room, mate. That's why.
It's not shining into my room at all. I can't see the sun at all. The sun's way the fuck over there. In fact, the sun is set. It has set. And it's still light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
why aren't I instantly plunged into darkness from the shadow of the earth, spinning the opposite direction?
Because reality doesn't work like that, mate.
That's right. Because reality is what reality is, and not your stupid, foolish beliefs about thinking
No,
we're on a
my
ball
belief.
spinning around the sun.
Belief doesn't require
And
reality.
sunlight
Reality
creates-
doesn't require belief.
Hey?
Belief does not require reality, and reality does not require belief.
Well, at least you recognize that much.
Yeah.
But your belief is just that. It's completely a faith-based religion.
It's not a belief, it's reality.
No, it's not.
See that?
You could
shining
bring
on
up
my
nothing to say. You could bring up
that light
nothing to say
shining on
why
my
the
eye
ground
there
beneath our feet
is
is moving
a sun ray.
1.35 times the speed of sound. You brought nothing to present that. You brought nothing to say how we're spinning around the sun on a daily basis of 1.6 million miles every day.
Yeah, we do. It's all been proven, and we can all look it up. We already
And you've
discussed
proven
it. Like, we
nothing.
can look
Like,
it
I
all
haven't
up.
even asked you that yet, but how does the moon keep up with us then? If we're going 1.6 million miles per
The moon's
day
locked
around
in
the
our
sun,
gravity.
how does the moon keep up with us when sometimes it's in front of us, sometimes
The
behind?
moon's locked in our
How do all the
gravity orbit.
satellites do that? And they're all in free fall.
The satellites are locked in our orbit, mate.
Right. Just so free fall motion causes things to accelerate phenomenal speeds and decelerate phenomenal speeds, all because it's gravity, which is just sucking everything in towards the center of its attraction of mass.
Well, you'll find
Do you
that
realize how
satellites
insane that
orbiting
sounds,
Earth.
mate? Do you realize how insane your belief is?
Yeah,
You
reality
are
is one,
insane.
mate. Reality is so much to it. Yeah. This is why the mentally challenged cannot comprehend it, because there's, complex things and scenarios, and
No,
it's
no,
like,
no, no,
but
no.
no, and then their head just explodes. So yeah,
No, because your beliefs are so insane,
not a
you
belief.
can't even comprehend them, and you just
Not a
tell
belief,
everybody else
it's
you must be insane because you don't believe what we believe.
I don't believe what you believe because it's not real.
That
That's as simple as
makes no
that.
sense, mate.
How so?
Okay,
Flat Earth
so
is
when
not
you
real.
go to
Flat Earth
your
is
local
not real.
pool
Can't
hall,
prove it.
when you go to
It's
your
not
local
real.
pool hall and you start rolling pool balls around on your table, you think the table must be a sphere and round because the pool balls are all round. That's pretty much what you're saying.
What?
You're trying to say that the pool table itself must be a sphere because all the pool balls are a sphere.
But a pool table is not a pool ball.
No, that's right. And the Earth is not a light in the sky.
Obviously not. It's a planet.
No, it's a plane.
It's a planet, and you can't prove that it's a plane because it doesn't exist.
Well, you can because you can put a glass of water on it and see that the glass of water remains level. If you
Yeah.
try to put a glass of water on your pool ball, it will slide off because the pool ball is not a plane.
The glass is so small compared to the Earth that you're going to find a flat surface. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know that water is used to find level, right?
Yeah. What about it? The water is level. Sea level is sea level around the whole globe.
Yeah, exactly.
It
And
is. Yeah.
therefore the Earth must be all those parts which are above the sea level.
Correct.
Good. So we agree the Earth is flat.
No, I agree that the water level is the same
Is
throughout the
level.
globe. Yeah. The water level.
But you
It's
still believe it's
uniform.
curving. You're telling me it's curving even though it's level. You're
If you
contradicting
put water
yourself.
in glass, the glass is round, so the water curves. Yeah.
It's still flat.
Yeah, it is. That's why we have sea level.
That's right. And that's why we say sea level is our means of determining how high the Earth is above the sea level.
Yeah, but it's not sea flat now, is it?
Yeah.
It's not the sea
You
flat.
look up the definition for level and you will find multiple examples of them using the word flat. That's what level means. It is
It's all
flat.
relative and in context depending what you're talking about. It's just like how theory and scientific theory are two completely different meanings and words.
Right. So have you ever held a globe in your hands?
Yeah, I have held a globe in my hand.
Rightio. So say you've got Africa on one side, America on the other side, and you're looking at this massive curve of water. You
Yep.
seriously believe that this water, in reality, can be thousands of miles high in between these continents without flooding them? That's your belief.
No, that's reality.
How is it reality?
Well, Google Earth, yeah, you can go on Google Earth and you can look up the Earth like it's all been mapped and stuff, yeah. Who's going to keep that a secret? How's it going to be kept a secret?
I don't know what you're talking about. Keep what a secret? We
Okay,
know that
so
water finds its level. You agreed that water finds its level. But
yeah,
now you're trying to contradict yourself and say that it can be thousands of miles high in between continents.
yeah,
So
that's
you're
reality.
insane.
What are you getting at?
No, you're insane. You are insane.
How?
That's what I'm getting at.
Just because you can't comprehend reality, I'm insane.
Because you believe water can
Cool.
be thousands of miles high in
Mhm.
between continents, even though you know it's always level.
Yeah. What's your point?
Then you're insane. That's my point. You're insane. I'm not mentally challenged. You're
Yes, you
insane.
are. You think the Earth is flat. We can't get like that. That's already a given. You are mentally challenged because you think the Earth is flat. Sorry,
No. That's your brainwashing that
it's
you can't
not.
get over. It's your cognitive dissonance
Sorry,
that you can't get
no,
past.
no.
You know, you're the one suffering the mental
Flat.
problems
If
here.
the Earth was flat, it would have been exposed.
It is exposed.
No, it's not. Unfortunately,
It is.
no,
Why else would I be here telling you that it's been exposed?
because you're mentally challenged.
No.
Yes.
I guess I must be trying to explain something to somebody who's insane.
No. I just accept reality.
No, you don't. You're not accepting reality at all. You're still living in your cognitive dissonance and you believe in these thousands of miles high bulges of water between continents. And you think I'm the insane one. That's your
You are.
problem.
Yeah.
See what I mean? You're so quick to
There's
jump to
thousands of
assumptions.
miles of water between continents. So what?
Well, there's not, because we know that water finds its level.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can see your cognitive dissonance just kicking over. It's kicking over. It's kicking over. You say,
I'm just
yes, it is level, but no, it's
proof
not level. Yes, it
between
is, but no,
Africa,
it's not. Yes, it is, but no, it's not. Yes, it is, no, it's not. My belief
between
says, oh, we
Africa
live in
and
a spinning
America,
ball in outer space. But
between
I
Africa
can't
and
accept reality.
America, there's a whole ocean, yeah, and it's probably thousands of miles deep. Yeah, cool.
I'm not talking about the depth. I'm talking about the bulge between.
What, the curve?
The bulge.
The curve.
If you want to call it the curve, fine.
Well, it is a curve. The Earth curves. That's reality.
Yeah,
What's
but
your
you
point?
just said water finds its level.
It does, yeah.
So how can you believe both?
How can you not?
That is called cognitive
It's reality.
dissonance. That's called you don't understand reality at all. You're insane.
No, look, I understand it completely. The Earth's spinning, gravity holds the water down, and the water finds its level in that ball. What's there to, what's there to debate?
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah. I do hope you find a nice therapist who can handle your insanity because I'm not the one.
But the therapist would agree with me on that. Everyone would, because it's reality. But
Maybe,
not you for
maybe
some
they
reason.
would. Maybe they're equally indoctrinated in the same insanity you're indoctrinated
You
with.
say so, sure.
You know?
Yeah.
If everybody believes in the same religion, then obviously the one who doesn't believe in it must be the insane one. But
It's not about
you are
belief, it's
believing in
reality.
complete contradictions. They
No,
contradict one another,
not at all.
and
I
you think
just
that I'm
explained
mentally
the Earth is
challenged.
round, the Earth spins, the gravity holds the water down on the Earth, and the water still finds its level on that ball because of that. That's fine. That's reality.
Okay, well, okay, let's change topics slightly here.
Sure.
Can you tell
All
me
right.
how we have tides? How do we have tides on the spinning ball where you've got one moon with one mass allegedly pulling the water of these oceans, which are held down by gravity, but somehow this moon with lesser gravity overrides the gravity of the Earth to pull the oceans around. Can you tell me how that works on your globe model?
No, because I'm not a scientist.
No, because you haven't got a clue, because you are so indoctrinated into your belief that you refuse to even look into understanding how a simple thing like the tides would work caused by the moon.
Well,
This
that
is one of
doesn't
these
affect my
arguments I've been
day-to-day
having
life,
quite a lot
so I haven't
with
looked it up.
people recently. And they say that the tide can be high on one side and high on the other side at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas the moon and the Earth's gravity pulling together should not have a high tide on the opposite side whatsoever. But there's two
The
tides
gravity,
per day.
yeah, if the moon is on, let's say the moon's facing Australia and England's on the other side of the world, the gravity still goes through the Earth and can affect England. It's just not as strong.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
why would there be a higher tide on the opposite side of the moon at the same time?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
No, no, you don't know because you're an ignorant fool and you dare
No,
to come
it's
on and
not.
challenge
It
other
doesn't.
people who do know this stuff
It's
and you call
no,
them
you don't
mentally
know this
challenged
stuff.
when you're
No,
the
no. Here's
fucking
the thing.
retard who doesn't even
You
fucking know
make
what you're
up
talking about
something
in the
in your
first place.
mind. You make up something, an answer, and then because I don't have the answer because it doesn't affect my everyday life, you think, aha, gotcha. It doesn't work like that.
Well, the tides affect my everyday life, actually. I have a lot to do with the
Yours, they
tides.
might if you live on the beach or something, but I don't live on the beach, so it
Yeah,
doesn't affect me.
yeah, and I basically do, or have done. I don't at the moment, but
That's fair
you know,
enough. So the
most of
tide
my
could
life has
manage.
evolved around the tidal movements, whether I take my bike down to the beach because I know I can
Instead of
ride on
actually
at
looking
a
at
low
some
tide,
science work, you just
or if
made
it's going
up
to be
an
a high tide
information.
and I can't ride it, and whether I'm going to get a good surf or not. So I know a lot about the tides. I know a lot about how they're affected by the
Obviously
moon.
not if you're questioning it and asking me why the moon affects it. You haven't looked it up. You just made an
No, I'm
answer for
just
yourself.
asking you because you don't have a clue. You're clueless.
No,
You're the
I,
ignorant,
yeah,
mentally
I
challenged
admit
one
that. So what?
trying to
I,
accuse
I
somebody
admit I
who
don't know how the
knows what they're
tide works. That's
talking
fine.
about. Yeah, but you're trying to accuse me of being mentally challenged. Whereas
Because
this
you
is
believe in
something I
flat
know
Earth.
about.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm just
actually an
exposing
expert
it to
on the.
everyone. That's all. My only job here in
Yeah,
this stream is to expose you and show you that you are actually mentally challenged. It's not a debate or anything. I'm just
yeah,
doing.
but you're failing miserably. You
No,
have
I'm not.
failed in every respect. Everything I
No, I
asked
haven't.
you something about, which I'm an
Yeah.
expert in,
No, you are not an expert. You
you
think
haven't
you
got an
are because you've
answer.
made up an answer.
But you haven't got an answer. And you say, "Oh, I
So
don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm not a scientist." What, do you
no, I'm
think
not.
I am a scientist because I do have all the
You
knowledge
think
about
you
it?
are, yeah. You think you are. You think you're a flat Earth scientist.
Yeah, mate, you're an embarrassment to your whole bloody indoctrinated religious belief that you think
all
you
the
believe in.
globes are.
No, heliocentrists is what you are. You're sun worshippers. Heliocentrists. You believe the
Yeah,
Earth
the
goes
sun
around the
is,
sun.
yeah, it does.
There are so many things I can prove wrong about that. If the Earth is going around the
No,
sun,
you
right,
can't.
and
No,
we're
you
using
can't.
a clock to measure the time, can you grasp
Yeah.
this concept? I don't know if you're mentally capable. You seem to be pretty slow. If we can grasp this concept, we measure the time with a clock,
Yeah.
24 hours per day.
Yep.
It's a fixed amount of time every
Yep.
single day.
Yep.
Every single day. So if the Earth is going
Pretty.
around the sun bit by bit by bit, and we're measuring exactly 24 hours every day, should not
Yep.
day and night swap places after 6 months when we're on the other side because we're going exactly measuring by the clock 24 hours
Makes
per day?
absolutely no sense at all, mate.
Why not?
Because the day and night exists because the Earth like rotates on its axis, not because it's orbiting the sun.
Yeah, I'm well aware
Day
of
and
that.
night does
But
not
but
depend
the
on the
24
orbit.
hours, the 24-hour orbit is fixed.
It's not an
So it's
orbit,
going
it's
24
rotation.
hours,
24
exactly
hour
24 hours.
rotation.
Yes,
Rotation.
every
24-hour
single
rotation.
day. Every single day.
Yes.
That's
Rotation,
what
not
you're not
orbit.
getting.
They're two different things. They're two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single day, and it's going 1 degree almost around the sun, which is 1.6 million miles a day.
That's an orbit, not a rotation. Yeah.
But all the time, this clock is measuring a fixed amount of time, which means that
Rotation. Yeah.
wherever the Earth is
24-hour
facing at one
rotation.
day at midday, facing the sun, this particular day, then the next day it's a degree, which is equal to about 4 minutes. And so every day, unless you adjust your clock by 4 minutes every day to go around a central point, you are going to be out in 6 months' time by 12 hours, and midday would be midnight, and midnight would be midday.
And
That
what
is
do you know?
so
That's
easy to
not what
prove, it's
happens.
not funny.
It's not
I know
easy to
it's not
prove
what
because it
happens
doesn't
because
happen.
the sun is going around above us.
It's not,
The sun
mate.
is going
All
around
the
above us.
It's not. We orbit the sun, and the Earth also rotates.
Yeah,
And the day and night does
but
not matter about orbit.
our clocks are fixed
Yeah,
24 hours.
yeah.
Fixed.
That's
That's the point
because that
you can't even
it takes
grasp
the
in your
Earth
little
24
mind.
hours to rotate. Yeah, that's why we have a 24-hour day, because the Earth takes 24 hours to do a full rotation. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But according to you globalists or heliocentrists, you believe in the sidereal day where it goes 23 hours, 56
56
minutes and 4
yeah,
seconds or something.
just under 24
And you
hours.
call
Yeah.
it a sidereal day.
Mhm.
So you don't even know your shit. And yet you try to
Um,
challenge me on this discussion. I don't even know
you
why
don't,
you're even
you don't know what you're
trying to
talking about.
discuss.
You're just trying to make up something that you've thought up in your head. It doesn't match reality. It takes 24 hours for the Earth to rotate, and we face the sun again. Cool. We know that. Like, cool.
Yeah, but okay, well, get yourself a little diagram, make your little sun in the center, and put your little
Yeah.
Earth 93
Yeah.
million miles away, and you
Mhm.
rotate this Earth exactly the same amount of time every day. By
Yep.
the time it reaches over here at this like 9 o'clock position,
Mhm.
midday is now facing over here and it's 6 p.m. That's just how it's going to work. By the time you go all the way around to the other side to the 12 o'clock position, it's going to be midnight while the Earth is facing midday. It just has to work that way
Well, it
if you're
doesn't.
doing
That's
it by a
unfortunately it doesn't.
fixed amount of time.
No, sorry.
And you can't grasp it in your mind, but I'm the mentally challenged one again. Okay.
It's not about grasping something. It's about
You've
what
proven
reality
yourself to be
24
totally mentally challenged. I've had enough of this. I've actually got to, before it gets too dark, I'm going to go take my dog out for a walk.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
and have a
and you
look at
can
the
watch
stars.
how the Earth rotates and then the sun sets.
Yeah, and I imagine you will be deleting this because you've
No,
proven
not at
yourself to
all. I'm
be
saving
the
it. This is
mentally
going to be
challenged
saved
one.
into the group so everybody can watch it.
Yeah, good. Because you are completely mentally challenged. You don't even understand a single thing about even your own belief that I
It's not a belief.
exposed to
It's
you.
reality. It's reality, not a belief.
If you want to believe that, that is your reality.
It's not a belief, mate. It's reality.
But I've comprehended it and I've broken it down and I've
You
exposed
have
it to you.
Fortunately,
How you are
you
the
have in
mentally
your own
challenged
way.
one.
You have in
The
your
flat
own way.
earthers are the
It's like me to talk
realists
about the flat Earth
living
as
upon
an
the
idea.
real plane, and you're insane, mate. You're absolutely insane, and you don't even know it. And that's the beautiful thing about being insane is that you don't even know it. So I hope you
I
enjoy
know.
your insanity.
No, good on you. You are the insane one
Yeah,
here because you don't know how 24-hour day works, and you think the sun
I
doesn't
know
shine.
exactly how it
I
works,
still
and I've
can't
got to
believe
explain
you
it to
said
you.
that. The sun doesn't shine.
No, it doesn't. It illuminates
The
the noble
sun
gases of
doesn't
the
shine.
atmosphere, and that's why we see it at the same size the whole time, regardless of how far away it is. It's how we have our seasons.
No,
I know it's too much for you to take in because you're obviously full of incredibility. I feel sorry for you.
why? Why do you feel sorry for me? I accept reality. I feel sorry for you.
Well, you
You're the
don't.
flat.
No, because you're completely brainwashed, and you
No,
think
I'm
that
not.
somebody trying to explain reality to you is the one that's mentally challenged.
You're not
That's your
explaining
problem.
reality. You're explaining your flat Earth ideas, which is fine. They exist as ideas, and you can be interested in that and discuss it. But it's not real. That's the difference. It's like if I talk about Star Wars. I accept it's not real, but I can talk about it.
Yeah, but it's like if you talk about a spinning ball and you try to explain your tides, you don't even have a clue about it, but you just assume that you know what they're all about because somebody
I didn't
told
say
you,
I
but
knew.
you don't even
I didn't
know. When
say
I
I knew.
asked you, when I challenged you with it, you've got
Yeah, I said
nothing.
I didn't know. I did because I don't know. Yeah,
Exactly.
I accept that.
Exactly,
I'd
but
have
it
to
should
look
be
it up.
something that's
Why
very
should it be?
common
It
knowledge
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to my everyday life. Why should I care?
because you're the one professing the belief in the spinning ball.
I'm not professing any belief. It's just reality.
You are. No,
No,
no, you're
it's
not.
reality whether you believe it or
You're
not.
living in delusion. You believe you're on the outside surface of a spinning ball hurtling through a vacuum at ridiculous speeds. But when you
I don't
get
believe that.
challenged with it,
Reality.
you just want to go and
Reality.
laugh at somebody who has
I laugh
reality.
at people like you because you don't think the sun shines and you think the earth is flat. Like, come
Well,
on,
you
man.
can look into it. You can understand the nature of light if you like. I'll try and find you a link even.
Nah, nah. I can do that myself, mate. It's all good. Ah, the sun doesn't shine. That's fucking great. Oh, Ross. Oh, Ross. Oh,